So, got a bunch of questions people asked, and so I'm getting back to you. Brandon, he had a good lot of questions, so I figure I got 20 minutes. If you got 20 minutes to kill, ride with me on the way home. Let's discuss. So, Brandon wants to know, what are some important factors to succeed at Indoc? I've said before, if you come here with the attitude that you will die before you quit, I think that's the right kind of mindset. To break that down even further, the things you need to succeed to actually make that happen, the idea that your buddy passing is just as important as you passing, I gotta go with that's a pretty big factor. The idea of teamwork, not only as a thought process, but as a religion, as something that means something. Like your core being is built on teamwork, and I think if you have that, then I think you got a pretty good chance of success. It's like buddy breathing. So buddy breathing, the idea is you and your buddy are breathing underwater with a snorkel. You only got one snorkel, so you got to pass it back and forth. If your buddy's goal is that you breathe, and your goal is that your buddy breathes, how can you fail? Does that make sense? Do you understand that, like, if we're working together as a team, the instructor can't beat you, and so for buddy breathing, you think, oh, I need to get full harassed, or I need this or that. You don't need that. What you need is you need to get into a pool. If you got a buddy or not, you need to practice passing that snorkel and floating. If you can practice floating either by yourself or with a buddy for 20 minutes, just passing the snorkel back and forth, you will pass 2 minutes of full harassment. Because 20 minutes of breathing shallow on a snorkel, you're not going to get a full breath. So your body will get used to it. I've done underwaters for an hour straight, and never was above the water more than probably 12 seconds, 15 seconds at some point, because about halfway through I got a little loopy. And I had a buddy watching me, and my goal was to go for a full hour. And at 37 minutes, I was like, kind of loopy, and I'm like, this is stupid. What am I doing? At 45 minutes, I was like, I got a little frustrated and was just like, I just want to stop. Like, it wasn't fun anymore. It was, had become a job at that point, I guess. And this is after I was an instructor. And so finally, I hit an hour, and the last 12 minutes, about 48, it just got smooth and everything made sense, and I saw God and the light, and I was probably a bit hypoxic, but I was happy. And if you can accomplish things like that, you put little goals in front of you. I want to get through today. All right, you want to get through today? You get through today. Boom. I want to get through today. Boom. You just take it day by day. When I was a student, there was an instructor that said, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is one piece at a time. How do you get up Everest? 1 foot at a time. Everything's built on. That's not very nice. Don't cut in front of people. That's just rude. And it leads to massive problems, because then that guy goes home, beats his wife or his kids, and kicks his dog. And what have you accomplished? So just be polite. That'll go far in your life, in your career. You're just, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, no thank you, yes please. Little things like that, you'd be surprised. A little respect towards people, how far it goes. So, buddy breathing as a lifestyle, or pararescue as a lifestyle, is just the belief that whatever it takes, if you put something in my way, I will go through it, around it, under it, whatever. I'll make it happen. So the mindset mentally of not quitting, but you need to back it up with physically running, spending as much time in the pool as you can. All that kind of stuff is very important to you, and things like you're not thinking this is building your character, but studying for your test right now. You're in high school and you're taking a test, or you're on the football team or the swim team, and you're trying your best, and you're like, I suck, or oh, I failed, or oh, I dropped the ball. You know, did you try your best? Is the answer yes? If the answer is yes, then hey, you learn, you live. You know, but remember how it feels to lose, that bitter taste of like, man, I don't like that. Learn what that feels like, so that way when you get in really important places where it matters if you win or lose, it's life or death, then you don't lose. It's okay to lose. You know, you're playing, I don't know, water polo with your friends, or a game of ultimate frisbee. You lose, whatever, you know, you play hard. But when you lose and somebody dies, you know, or things of that magnitude, bad things happen, then you don't want to lose. So figure that out, you know, learn what that feels like. And so weaknesses make you who you are. And just like your enemies define who you are, and just like your strengths make, you know, who you are. It's all well-rounded. You're not just this guy who does that. You're, you know, this guy who passed this, or this guy who failed that, or this guy who had trouble with treading, or this guy who, you know, had whatever issues you had growing up. All these things, all these, let's call them speed bumps, because they're you know, you're making mountains or molehills into mountains, right? You're, oh my God, it's this bad. You know. It's not that bad. The only thing that can't be cured is death. So as long as you're still alive, you know, and I tell the students, I'm like, you know, 1 foot in the grave, still 1 foot in the fight. And then for people who are really having a bad day, I'm like, 2 feet in the grave is even better, because it's a more stable fighting position. So, you know, whatever. I mean, as long as you're not dead, what was it? John Lennon said, as long as there is life, there is hope. That's para-rescue. As long as you're alive and you're kicking and you're fighting and you refuse to fail or quit, you're good. So I think I'll tie this into my favorite book, Gates Fire. They have the idea of a dais, and a dais was a fighting unit, 2 guys, or at the end specifically, they formed the 300 as a dais. So that way you had young and old, strong and fast, smart and strong, all the different encompassing traits that people have to not fail, because everybody fighting together as a team, as a dais, was able to cover up for the other guy's weaknesses or shortfalls. That's what a team is. A team is a bunch of dudes working together towards a goal, you know, and saying it doesn't matter who I am, it doesn't matter who you are, it matters who we are together. And the quicker you learn that, I think the easier life will be. I think the easier going through any kind of selection course will be. You know, when you're married, there's your team. Your family, there's your team. You know, how'd you work with your parents? How'd you work with people at school? I'm raising 2 boys on my own. I think we're our own dais. You know, they give me my strength. They help drive me, because if I fail, you know, they're out on the streets, or they're, you know, in a bad place. So I don't have failures on option. And I know that sounds cliche, but if you actually think that way, you have no other option but to not fail. So failure's not an option. You have to pass. Your mind has to believe 150% that you are going to accomplish what you set out to. And there are going to be rough days. There are going to be bad days. There are going to be days where you wake up and you're like, oh, dude, I don't want to do this again. You know, Groundhog Day over and over and over again. But I can tell you, it all works. I was in Afghanistan, picking up people, what was left of them, and I'm not very tall. I'm only about 5'5", and the snow was up to my neck. Like, I mean, I was buried, and I'm pushing bodies up, you know, and dragging, and it sucked. But it reminded me why I went through Indoc. I went through Indoc so that way I'd be like, all right, this sucks, but it will end. You know, I mean, fingers were numb and face was frozen, and it sucked. A lot of things are gonna suck as a PJ or even in the military period. You know, they got the old everybody, you know, the Army, the Rangers out in the mud. Oh, I wish it would suck more. And you know, people were like, oh, this, you know, and then you got the Air Force guys saying it, no cable, oh, this sucks. You know, it's all relative to what you're used to or what suckiness means to you. You know, traffic sucks, but hey, nobody's trying to kill me, so traffic's not that bad. That was another mindset I picked up from a buddy of mine. He said, is anyone trying to kill you today? And I'm like, no, not actively. And how bad a day is it really? You know, in Afghanistan, you can't throw away batteries. You can't throw away used uniforms. You can't throw away anything that, and these are things that you're like, what, batteries? That you don't even think that people could use to kill you. But it could be used to kill you. So when you're in a place, you know, America, for the most part, day to day, nobody's trying to kill you. So life is not that bad. And when you come to Indoc, someone is paying you to work out all day. They're paying you to run around in a pair of shorts, get buff, get tan, swim, and hang out with a bunch of dudes. I don't think it gets much better than that. Maybe not hang out with a bunch of dudes, but the brotherhood, the camaraderie, the teamwork, the feelings that you're gonna, you know, develop for these people, they'll be more important to you than your own family. Because you've suffered with them, you've sweat with them, you've bled with them, you've cried with them, you've, you know, had those days where you're like, wow, man. And Indoc is, as my chief used to say, Kostranik, he used to say, Indoc's the golden thread that binds us all together. You know that dude's a PJ, you know he went through Indoc. So you know that he has been tried and challenged and been found worthy. So here he is with you. So, you know, what can't you accomplish? So there are a couple different ways. He also still on the branding question. He asks about like setbacks, and so if you SIE, you're done. If you SIE before day 5, you're out of the Air Force completely. If you SIE after day 5, you have a pretty good chance of being reclassed into some other job. It all depends on what the Air Force is looking for that day. If, say, you fail 2 evals in a row, so you failed push-ups 2 weeks in a row, you could get washed back, or you could be eliminated and reclassed. It all depends on how good are your numbers. If all your numbers are horrible and you're barely getting by, there's a pretty good chance that they won't let you continue or be washed back, so they'll reclass you. Nothing wrong being washed back. Some good PJs have been washed back, and you know, like I said, it's a challenge. So you get really challenged. That second time, the third time through is even worse, because you're like, you know everything. You've already been through Black Thursdays. This is your third time. You're like, God dang it. You know it's coming. But what are you gonna do? You know, there's nothing you can do. You just smile and take the paychecks, like Mike Maltz would say. And it makes you a better, stronger person. You know, when you pass WaterCon for when I went through, it used to be on Fridays. And that Friday running home from the pool back to the dorms, that was a pretty good, like you're like, yeah, I feel good. You know, if you didn't pass, then maybe you didn't feel so good, but I usually did pretty good in the water. It was the running that was my, not my strong suit, for lack of a better word. But yeah, so build on your little victories. So the fact that you're still here today, that's a victory. The fact that you didn't get in trouble, there's a victory. You know, I mean, if you want to go further, you know, and like, hey, I did really well on that run, then hey, there's a big victory. But sometimes you need just those little victories, little increments of, you know, I'm moving forward. You know, like, I don't know, anyone seen Finding Nemo, Just Keep Swimming? That's Just Keep Swimming. Throw in a little tool, learn to fucking swim. So, yeah, so don't worry, just do your best, work really hard, and don't worry about being set back or whatever. If you get asked for a setback, be like, I know I failed, but I really want to be here. Can I please have a setback? But try to graduate the first time. It makes it a little bit easier. But, you know, some of us are a little bit maybe not as intelligent as the other people, so we don't do it the first time. So his question was, is it mental or physical or both? Indoc is equal parts mental and physical. I think just about any pre-dive, scuba, buds, you know, Q course, they're physical and they're mental. You have different. You're gonna be tired. You're gonna be hungry. You're gonna be thirsty. You're gonna be like, oh God, again. You do it. You make it happen because it's worth it. You know. I kind of make a joke about Indoc being a gateway drug to all the other fun things that you get to do. It's worth it. Yeah, a little bit of suffering goes a long way, and while you're at it, you might get used to suffering because the way it deploys, you know, we haven't invaded Bali or Indonesia or any nice place. You know, we invade hot places with angry people, and there are some beautiful people too. I'm not lumping every person into hostile Muslim terrorists. There are some very nice people in those countries, but the people that hate us, they really hate us. And when I've had to work with prisoners that we've captured, the hate that seethed from them, I've never encountered that kind of, I've never even felt that kind of hate. That I don't hate. I mean, there are some people I hate, but if they were on fire or something, at least I probably would try to help put them out. You know, I don't have anybody that I would be like, yeah, I'm just gonna watch you. You know, I don't hate anybody that much, but our enemies do tend to hate us that much because they don't know about us. They don't know that we're not all bad people. You know, just like they're not all bad people. There ain't no good guys. There ain't no bad guys. There's only you and me, and we just disagree. I think that's about what it comes down to. You know, if you want to break down societal problems into a two-line verse of a song. He does. So, yeah, I'm looking at my notes, talking to you and driving. I'm an accident waiting to happen. They're really quick notes though. All right. So, what happens if you don't have a swimming pool? If you don't have a swimming pool, you got to find one. Maybe if you got to go dig a hole in your backyard or find a river, or, you know, I mean, it is winter, so I could see, you know, there aren't a lot of indoor pools maybe, so you can't go swim. Can't swim, do flutter kicks. Can't tread on your bed. Do planks, do swimmer exercises. Find one of those machines, you know, where you pull. It's kind of like a I don't know what they. I can see it in my head. It's like a swimming machine. You got the different pulleys you pull on, or find a lat pull down machine and do one arm at a time. Yeah, all kinds of stuff that you can do to help you do that. So when summer comes, go find a lake or a river or an ocean or a pool. Winter, I don't know. Practice. Don't let it get to you. In 2000, I was in where was I? Mozambique for a super typhoon that had hit there, and we had no weights. So we took MRE boxes and used them for dips and used them for push-up blocks, you know, so you're above the ground, and squatted them and whatever. I mean, if you want to work out, you can work out, you know, and I'm saying this because I know a lot of you guys, you work, you have to live, you need a job, and I'm going to stop it right here just because I don't know what my limit is for YouTube. I think 20 minutes is about the longest I can make one, so part 2 will be right up.